The Cosby Show brought warmth, laughter, and life lessons into the homes of millions, establishing itself as one of the most beloved television series of its time. With its groundbreaking portrayal of a successful African-American family, it created cultural waves and catapulted its cast into the spotlight. However, as the curtain fell, the actors' lives diverged in ways few could have anticipated. From life-altering accidents to personal challenges that shaped their paths, their post-show journeys revealed tales of resilience and change. Wondering where these iconic stars are in 2025? Their stories will fascinate, surprise, and leave you reflecting on the price and complexity of fame. Don't miss this captivating look into their lives today. Bill Cosby, who portrayed Dr. Heathcliff, Cliff, Huxtable on The Cosby Show, was 47 years old when he brought to life the lovable, sweater-wearing patriarch and obstetrician known for his eccentric humor and tender parenting. His performance defined 1980s television and helped shape the idealized image of black family life on screen. Off-screen, however, Cosby's life took a darker path. Married to Camille Olivia Hanks since 1964, their union produced 5 children, including Ennis, who was tragically murdered in 1997, a trauma that fractured Cosby's family and marked the beginning of his emotional unraveling. Despite his once iconic status, his career imploded after more than 60 women accused him of sexual assault, leading to a 2018 conviction later overturned in 2021. Estranged from many former colleagues and facing public disgrace, Cosby now lives reclusively, reportedly blind and in declining health. Once worth over $400 million, his fortune dwindled through legal fees, settlements, and the collapse of his brand. His estate today is estimated at $100 million, though much remains tied up in litigation. Now 87, Cosby spends his final years in silence, no longer revered, his legacy drowned by scandal and sorrow. Phylicia Rashad, who played Claire Huxtable at 36 years old, enchanted audiences with her elegance, poise, and quiet strength as the sharp-tongued, trailblazing attorney and mother of 5. Her performance helped redefine black women on television: intellectual, assertive, and nurturing. Behind the dignified facade, Rashad's personal life has been fraught with disappointment and emotional isolation. She married 3 times, most famously to former NFL star Ahmad Rashad, with whom she had 1 daughter, Condola. The marriage ended in 2001, broken by irreconcilable differences and a growing emotional distance. Despite critical acclaim and continued work on stage and screen, Rashad's post-Cosby career was dimmed by her unwavering public support of Bill Cosby during his trials, which alienated many fans and peers. Her relationships with family have grown increasingly private. She rarely speaks of her siblings or daughter publicly. Now 76, Rashad continues to act, though the shadows of her past linger in every appearance. Her current estate is valued at approximately $25 million, but the glow of her former stardom has dulled. Once the matriarch of America's favorite family, she now lives in quiet solitude, burdened by the ruins of her legacy's foundation. Sabrina LaBeouf, who played the composed and cerebral Sandra Huxtable Thibodeau, was 26 years old when she joined The Cosby Show, portraying the eldest of the Huxtable children. Her character, often caught between lofty aspirations and domestic responsibilities, mirrored much of LaBeouf's off-screen struggles. Trained at Yale Drama School, she had once hoped for a vibrant stage career, but her sudden fame as Sandra pigeonholed her into television and robbed her of the creative freedom she craved. Her marriage to businessman Michael Reynolds in the 1990s, once hailed as a union of equals, deteriorated under the weight of emotional distance and unresolved tensions about her professional stagnation. They divorced quietly, with no children, and LaBeouf retreated from public life. Though she found solace in interior design, a field where she excelled artistically, the silence of empty rooms couldn't replace the applause she once heard on stage. Her father passed away shortly after The Cosby Show ended, a loss that pushed her into a prolonged period of grief and self-reflection. LaBeouf had intermittent acting roles but often declined them, citing disillusionment with Hollywood's limited roles for aging black actresses. Now 67, she lives in near seclusion in Northern California, occasionally lecturing on design but rarely revisiting her acting past. Her estate is estimated at $1.5 million, much of which is invested in a modest property she designed herself, her only sanctuary from a world that once applauded, then forgot her. Lisa Bonet, who portrayed Denise Huxtable starting at age 17, embodied the rebellious, free-spirited daughter with a fierce independence and a flair for the unconventional. Her portrayal brought both warmth and tension to the Huxtable household, as Denise often clashed with her more structured family. Bonet's life off-screen mirrored much of her character's nonconformity, but it came at a personal cost. She married rocker Lenny Kravitz in 1987, and they had a daughter, Zoe Kravitz. The marriage, though passionate, was plagued by infidelity and artistic tension, ending in divorce in 1993. She later married actor Jason Momoa, with whom she had 2 children, Lola and Nakolwolf, but that marriage too fell apart in 2022 after years of drifting apart. Her career faltered after clashing with producers over her image and creative freedom, leading to long absences from Hollywood and a struggle to find her footing again. She faced health issues in her 40s, including a mysterious autoimmune condition that led to long bouts of fatigue and depression. Estranged from both parents and briefly separated from her children, Bonet lives quietly in Topanga Canyon, California, rarely seen in public. As of 2025, she is 57 years old, with an estimated estate valued at $5 million, mostly in property and investments made during her marriage to Momoa. Joseph C. Phillips, who played the steady and soft-spoken Lieutenant Martin Kendall, joined the show at age 27, bringing grounded dignity to the role of Denise's military husband. Known for his composed demeanor and earnest delivery, Phillips seemed poised for a long career in Hollywood. Yet, after The Cosby Show, his opportunities dwindled. Typecast and often overlooked, he shifted focus to conservative political commentary, alienating many former colleagues. His marriage to Nicole Phillips, which began with promise, fell apart after 23 years amid infidelity rumors and financial stress. They had 3 sons, Connor, Ellis, and Samuel, though Phillips reportedly has a strained relationship with his eldest. He faced bankruptcy in 2019 and began teaching acting and writing in small colleges to make ends meet. The collapse of his marriage, combined with growing disillusionment in both politics and Hollywood, left him emotionally exhausted. Despite efforts to rebuild, his once promising career has faded into obscurity. Now 63, Phillips lives alone in Georgia, giving the occasional seminar and rarely appearing in public. His current estate is estimated at just $400,000, much of it tied up in debt and a modest retirement plan. Keisha Knight Pulliam, who portrayed the adorable and precocious Rudy Huxtable in The Cosby Show, was only 5 years old when the series began in 1984. Her portrayal of the youngest Huxtable daughter brought charm and a sense of innocence to the family sitcom, making her a beloved figure on American television. However, growing up in the shadow of early fame proved emotionally complex. Pulliam married former NFL player Edgerton Hartwell in 2016, but the marriage quickly deteriorated into a bitter divorce in 2018, just months after she gave birth to their daughter, Ella Grace. Custody battles and public accusations of infidelity marred what was supposed to be a joyous chapter in her life. Though she remarried actor Brad James in 2021, lingering wounds from past traumas never quite healed. Behind the scenes, she struggled with anxiety and self-doubt, often reflecting on a childhood spent more on soundstages than playgrounds. Her relationship with her parents, once warm, became distant after years of managing her finances and decisions as a child star. Despite maintaining an acting career and engaging in charitable work, including support for women facing domestic abuse, Pulliam often expresses the ache of a childhood lost too early. Now 45, she resides quietly in Georgia, focusing on motherhood and privacy. Her estimated net worth stands at $6 million, but her emotional scars remain far more difficult to quantify. Jeffrey Owens, who joined The Cosby Show as Elvin Thibodeau, was 24 years old when he began portraying the sweet, awkward, and sometimes chauvinistic husband of Sandra Huxtable. His character's slow but sincere evolution into a supportive partner reflected a warmth that endeared him to fans. However, Owens' real-life journey post-Cosby was marked by obscurity and financial hardship. Typecast and often overlooked by casting directors, he drifted into stage acting and occasional teaching gigs to make ends meet. In 2018, a photo of him working at Trader Joe's went viral, thrusting him into the spotlight in a deeply humiliating way that reopened old wounds of rejection and invisibility. Though he later received an outpouring of support and some renewed acting opportunities, the emotional toll lingered. He has been married to stage actress Josette Owens for decades, and they have one son, Jordan, who remains largely out of the public eye. Despite staying together, their marriage has endured financial stress, bouts of depression, and the burden of unfulfilled dreams. Owens lives modestly in New Jersey and teaches acting to young hopefuls while still auditioning. As of 2025, he is 64 years old and has an estimated net worth of $300,000, most of it in a retirement account and a small home passed down from his parents. Erica Alexander, who portrayed Pam Tucker on The Cosby Show, was 21 years old when she joined the series in its later seasons. As the spirited and street-smart cousin of the Huxtables, Pam brought youthful realism and a new dynamic to the show's final chapters. Despite the charm and fire she brought to the role, Alexander's journey beyond The Cosby Show has been marked by both professional ambition and emotional struggle. She married screenwriter Tony Puryear in 1997, and while the union seemed strong for years, it ended in divorce in 2017 amid reports of emotional distance and irreconcilable differences. They had no children, and Alexander has since spoken about the loneliness that accompanied her divorce. Professionally, she remained active with roles in Living Single and later in Get Out and American Refugee. But mainstream stardom eluded her, often due to the industry's neglect of black actresses. She quietly battled depression in her late 30s and again in her 40s. Estranged from much of her extended family, she focused her energy on activism, though even that world brought its share of betrayals and burnout. Now 55, Alexander lives in relative seclusion in Los Angeles, occasionally teaching workshops for young actors. Her estimated estate is valued at around $1.8 million, a modest sum for a talent once on the brink of enduring fame. Dionne Richmond, who played the lovable and sassy Kenny, often referred to as Bud, was only 6 years old when he made his debut on The Cosby Show. His playful banter with Rudy Huxtable became a fan favorite, and for a brief time, he was seen as one of Hollywood's most promising child stars. However, Dionne's post-Cosby career faltered, never quite rising to the heights predicted for him. Struggling with typecasting and a lack of strong roles, he turned to guest spots on various sitcoms and minor film roles. His romantic life proved no more stable. He was never married, but had twin daughters with a longtime girlfriend. The relationship ended abruptly after allegations of infidelity. Dionne endured years of depression, legal battles over child support, and an extended estrangement from his own father. Financially, he suffered during the 2010s, investing in a failed startup that cost him dearly. At 46 years old in 2025, he lives modestly in Pasadena, rarely appearing in public and focusing on raising his daughters, Aria and Zola, in a quiet household. His estimated estate is a mere $350,000, a painful reminder of Hollywood's cruel indifference toward aging child actors. Raven-Symoné, who portrayed the bright and bubbly Olivia Kendall, joined The Cosby Show at just 3 years old, lighting up the screen as Denise's adorable stepdaughter. Her charm and comedic timing made her an instant fan favorite. However, growing up in the harsh glare of fame took a deep toll on her personal life. Despite later successes in television and music, Raven often spoke about her struggle with identity and the pressure of maintaining a child star image. She had several short-lived relationships and eventually married Miranda Mayday in 2020, but their union has been marred by long periods of separation and personal conflict. The couple has no children. Raven also endured a strained relationship with her parents, particularly around the control of her early career earnings. Her battles with body image, public speculation about her sexuality, and years in therapy have left scars she rarely discusses publicly. Though she remains active in entertainment, producing smaller independent works and hosting talk segments, Raven leads a reclusive life in Los Angeles. As of 2025, she is 39 years old. Her estate is estimated at $6 million, a shadow of the fortune she earned as a child star, most of which was lost to mismanagement and legal fees during early adulthood. Earl Hyman, who portrayed Russell Huxtable and voiced Macbeth in the show's Shakespearean asides, was 58 years old when The Cosby Show began airing. As Cliff Huxtable's gentle, jazz-loving father, his presence brought gravitas and warmth to the sitcom's multigenerational storytelling. Off-screen, Hyman was an intensely private man with a complex emotional world. He never married and had no known children, often saying his deepest connection was with the stage. His lifelong partnership with Norwegian theater director Rolf Sørensen was never publicly labeled, though they lived together for decades. Hyman described the relationship as one of deep love and mutual respect, but admitted in later years to feeling isolated, especially as Hollywood offered few roles for aging black actors. After the show, he returned mostly to stage acting in Norway and the US, but his declining health in the early 2000s forced him into retirement. He suffered from memory loss and increasing frailty, spending his final years in a care facility in Englewood, New Jersey. Earl Hyman passed away on November 17, 2017, at the age of 91 from age-related causes. His estate was modest, estimated at $500,000, most of which was left to his lifelong companion and a few select charities supporting black theater. Malcolm Jamal Warner, who portrayed Theo Huxtable in The Cosby Show, was just 14 years old when he stepped into the role of the smart yet underachieving teenage son of Cliff and Claire. His performance resonated with millions, as Theo's struggles with dyslexia and adolescence mirrored the challenges of many young viewers. After the show ended, Warner struggled to escape the shadow of his breakout role, often being typecast or overlooked for more serious parts. Though he maintained a steady presence in television and music, his career never soared to the heights many predicted. Warner had a long-term relationship with actress Michelle Thomas, who tragically died of cancer in 1998, a loss that deeply affected him. He later married but divorced quietly, never speaking much about the woman or their short-lived union. He has one daughter, whose identity he has kept hidden from the public. Warner has admitted to bouts of depression, especially following Thomas's death and the fading of his stardom. Estranged from parts of his family and often retreating into music to cope, he lives a quiet life in Los Angeles. At 54, he remains guarded, rarely appearing at public events. Despite personal trials, he has managed to accumulate a modest fortune, with a current net worth estimated at $4 million, mostly from residuals, voice work, and modest music sales. Tempest Bledsoe, who played the inquisitive and often overlooked Vanessa Huxtable, was only 11 when she took on the role of the fourth child in the Huxtable household. Her character often dealt with the complexities of being a middle child, caught between wanting to grow up and staying young. After the series concluded, Bledsoe found it nearly impossible to break free from the role that defined her childhood. She ventured into talk show hosting and sporadic television appearances, but the industry proved unkind to her attempts at reinvention. In her personal life, Bledsoe has been in a long-term relationship with actor Darryl M. Bell, though they never married and have no children. While their partnership appeared strong publicly, friends have hinted at periods of separation and emotional distance. She has spoken candidly about her struggles with body image, depression, and the pressure to remain relevant in a constantly changing industry. Bledsoe also dealt with the early deaths of both her parents and has had a complicated relationship with her extended family, many of whom she no longer speaks to. Now 51, she lives quietly, rarely giving interviews, and focusing on wellness and home life. Her current net worth is estimated at $6 million, though much of her wealth is tied up in modest real estate holdings and residuals from The Cosby Show. Clarice Taylor, who portrayed the warm yet formidable Anna Huxtable, Cliff's devoted mother, was 67 when The Cosby Show premiered. A veteran actress of both stage and screen, her performance brought a sense of grounded wisdom to the series. Behind the scenes, however, her life was a patchwork of sorrow. Never married, she had a long, turbulent relationship with a jazz musician who fathered her only son, but left before the boy was 2. Taylor struggled to balance motherhood and her Broadway ambitions. Her son, James, battled addiction and was incarcerated multiple times, something Clarice never publicly addressed but privately mourned. After the show ended, she returned to theater but found fewer and fewer roles. She spent her final years in near seclusion, rarely attending public events, and was plagued by dementia. She passed away from heart failure in 2011 at the age of 93. Her estate, mostly tied up in a Harlem brownstone and a modest pension, was valued at approximately $600,000, left to her only grandchild, whom she barely knew. Karen Molina White, who joined the cast at 25 as the spirited and opinionated Charmaine Brown, offered a breath of fresh energy in the show's later seasons. Her quick wit and chemistry with the ensemble cast made her a standout, yet success was short-lived. Post-Cosby, she found herself continually overlooked for lead roles, relegated to guest appearances and voice work. Despite a long-term relationship with actor Malcolm Jamal Warner, they never married, and their breakup in the early 2000s left her emotionally shattered. Karen never had children, reportedly due to medical complications and a fear of repeating her own fractured upbringing. Her father was absent most of her life, and her mother passed away just as her career was stalling. A serious car accident in 2013 left her with chronic pain and limited mobility, further derailing her ambitions. Now 59 in 2025, she lives alone in a modest condo in Los Angeles, rarely seen in the spotlight. She survives largely on residuals and occasional teaching gigs at acting workshops. Her estate is valued at approximately $500,000. Once full of potential, now a quiet testament to what might have been. Who is your favorite character from The Cosby Show? How does it feel knowing that some of the actors are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on future uploads. Thank you for your support.